Welcome back to Passionately Catholic. I ran into this question on social media the other day that I found really fascinating. And the person was asking, what is really the point of this life? What is the meaning if 100 years from now, I will be dead, everything that I did will probably not really mean anything anymore unless I become somebody who's historically significant and I'm in history books, from here on out, or I create something that people will notice in the future. But even if I create something that's going to be, remembered for a while, even decades, even 100 years, which could maybe be a painting or an important book or something like that that's even remembered 100 years from now, will it really be that big of a deal? Will it really make that big of an impact? I sense this sense of despair in this person's question, but it's a great question. I really appreciate the question, and this was my response back to the person. And I'd love to know, how would you respond to somebody who asked that question? Like, what's the point? Go ahead and put your response down in the comments, and let's fill some of those in. How would you respond to this kind of question? But my response was, there was this girl who's walking along the beach, and the tide had come in and gone back out, and it had left a whole bunch of starfish stranded on the beach, and the girl was picking up a starfish at a time and throwing it back out into the water. And this old man walked up, saw what the little girl was doing, and is just like, this is absurd. Walks up to the little girl and says, "What are you doing?" She says, "I'm throwing these back into the sea." And he's like, "Little girl, listen, I'm sorry to break this to you, but honestly, you're never going to be able to save all of these starfish. What's the point in doing this?" And the girl said, "Made a difference to that one. Made a difference to that one." Now, yes, when we look at our life, sometimes things can seem so big and so challenging, okay? And it may instill in us the sense of despair. But let me propose this in terms of looking at our life and the value and purpose of our life. What if during our life here, we at minimum are able to get in touch with Jesus Christ, build that relationship, be filled with His grace, and experience salvation for all eternity? And in this life, we're able to make an extremely positive spiritual impact on somebody else's life. That the fact that our lives came into contact with each other means that they also are able to have eternal life. Made a difference to that one. Made a difference to that one. Let me ask you this. What could we do? What could you and I do in our lives that we could make a stronger, more positive, deeper impact on the lives of others in an eternal significance kind of way? Not merely in terms of a this worldly kind of way, but something even more deeper, more meaningful. Could we bring up the topic of religion more often? Could we invite someone to our church with us? Could we share our ideas and our faith like as easily as we share the weather and what's going on? There are so many more important things to be talking about than just the same old humdrum whatever. And a response I might give back to this person is, yeah, I hear you that sometimes it feels like life just is pretty meaningless. But gosh, when you look at life a little deeper and you look at it with through the lens of the hope and the faith of what is to come in eternal life, of heaven. So even if we're in state of despair or being challenged and we think, well, what's the point? What's the meaning of all this? Well, you look at all the starfish on the seashore. And you know what? Here's another fun thing, is the girl takes that starfish and throws it into the water, and her answer and her example convinces the old man. And the old man picks up a starfish and he starts to help, and the two of them start to throw. Who else would see the work that they are doing and then pitch in and be inspired and join in that process? If you like the video, be sure to click the like button. Be sure to subscribe so that you can see all future content that we release, and click that bell icon so that YouTube has to tell you every time we release a new video so that you don't miss one in the future. Always a big thank you goes out to our patrons on Patreon who help support what we do at Passionately Catholic and keep us going and growing. May God richly and abundantly bless you, and I look forward to being in touch again very soon.